about challenge contributing to environmental degradation, economic losses, and food insecurity. The Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, estimates that approximately one-third of all food produced for human consumption is usually wasted, which is enough to feed billions of people. Reducing food waste is not only crucial for sustainability, but also essential for ensuring a better food future. And it's on this note that I welcome you to today's edition of Safety Train here on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. I am Taiwo Baruwa, standing in for Fire Williams this Tuesday afternoon. Of course, she is unavoidably absent, so we'll do this together. My guest is with me in the studio. Michael Akinsete is the co-founder and chief marketing officer at Eco Tutu, a clean tech company that provides affordable solar-powered cold storage solutions to businesses in the agriculture and health value chain. Michael has successfully overseen the commercialization and expansion of 4 technology-driven solutions in emerging markets since 2015, demonstrating the ability to use lean approaches to tackle social and environmental issues. Good afternoon to you, Michael.
Good afternoon, Taiwo.
How are you today?
I'm very fine. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So I'm pleased to have you on board.
Thank you for having me. I'm pleased to be here too.
All right, then. So, basically, today on the show, we shall be talking about right to food. Of course, it's still in the commemoration of World Food Day 2024, which is themed Right to Food for a Better Life and a Better Future. Yes, sir. For a better life and a better future. So let's get down to business, Michael. Let's start with what food is. I mean, people consume a whole lot of things now, but let's just, figure out what food is.
Thank you very much for that question, and that's a really good place to start. Food is whatever we as human beings consume that is nutritious to the body, that helps us to be healthy, and also, helps to ensure the process of growth, say from the time of birth up until, throughout the lifetime of the individual. So food is one of the basic needs of humans, right? There is a certain amount of time that you can spend without eating before you start to fall ill or start to...
Oh, yeah? But people fast for 30 days.
Yes. But you can't go beyond a certain number of days.
Days,
right?
absolutely,
Yes.
Absolutely. So let's talk about food waste now. In this part of the world, there is no gainsaying that we're not wasteful. That's just a note.
We can't afford to be.
At this time, right?
Yeah,
it's very, very pertinent that we focus on that. But then let's, find out what food waste is.
Okay, so I would like to first of all draw the distinction, right? There is food waste,
yes,
and then there is food loss.
Okay.
Now, these two are serious problems. But in the African context, in Nigeria especially, yes, there is some food waste. But what is more prevalent, what is more here, is food loss. And it happens in the first 3 stages of the supply chain, which is during production on the farm, during packaging and storage. And then the third leg of that is during transportation. Now, 50%, up to 50% of food produced in Nigeria is lost post-harvest. Now, the 3 stages that I mentioned are the immediate post-harvest legs of the value chain, right? The point of harvest, the point of storage and post-harvest handling, whether you're crating it, whether you're having it in sacks, as we typically would see around us in raffia baskets and all of that. And then how do you facilitate the movement of food from the point of production till it gets to the table of the final consumer? So those 3 legs speaks to food loss. Then food waste occurs after the food has been bought by the consumer,
Okay.
So you, as a consumer, you buy food, and then how do you then handle that food? Do you cook it? Do you store it properly? Does it get spoiled in your house? Do you cook it and then you cook more than you can consume at the time, and then the rest goes to waste, right? So that's food waste. And what is more prevalent in this part of the world is food loss, right? We have some waste, but it's more food loss.
Okay, so I would like us to focus more on that food loss, since that is what is prevalent in this part of the world.
Yes.
And the first thing you mentioned is from the point of the farm.
Yes.
How does this happen on the farm? We understand that in the process of packaging, yes, a whole lot of things might happen, heat and all of that, and then transportation. I mean, a whole lot of things would go wrong, considering the nature of our roads. But then on the farm, what goes wrong there?
Okay, so a lot of the techniques with which our farmers harvest this produce are still very crude, right? So as simple as in the course of trying to pluck your tomatoes, you squeeze too hard, or you cut it, you enjoy it with a sickle, right? It's as little as that. And then the fact that farmers typically are looking for access to market. So these are perishable, many times perishable staples or fruits that need to get to the marketplace as fast as possible, needs to get to the customer as fast as possible. Sometimes we have this produce sitting on the farms. The farmers don't have access to market. They don't have off-takers that will come pick them up. And they also do not have a means to store on the farm, right? So that puts them in a precarious situation where many of these fruits and vegetables, and also the cash crops, can go to waste while it's still on the farm.
We are aware that times are hard now, and despite the situation we find ourselves in right now, we still find out that people actually waste food, at different places, homes, businesses, offices, and all of that. What do you think is responsible for this?
So I mean, growing up, well, like you said, we're not wasteful people. Someone was asking me recently and saying, "Oh, you clear your plate, like every seed of rice, every grain of rice on your food, on your plate when you eat." I'm like, my mom taught me that, right? I think that there's a lot that goes into education. There's a lot that goes into training. There's a lot then there's also the fact that a lot of people in some cases have more than they can consume. And because they haven't experienced lack in that form, they probably don't take it for granted. And waste can also occur like that. Okay. But there's also the place of storage.
Yes.
Proper storage within the household, proper ensuring that you have airtight containers for your food, ensuring that those that need refrigeration are refrigerated. If all of this is lacking, then food is sure to go to waste. Also, if you cook more than you can consume at a time, right? It will start to rot. Some people will say they don't eat anything that is not fresh. So if they cook and there are leftovers, that means that goes to waste, right? So yes, those are some of the causes of food waste within our household.
As much as we've been able to identify the causes from food waste to food loss, let's look at some of the implications that are about to arise from food waste, either food waste or food loss.
Yes. So there are a number of them. I mean, the most important one, which deals with the bottom line for farmers and agribusinesses, is loss of income, right? Up to 50% of the food that we produce in Nigeria goes to waste post-harvest. Right, and that means...
Did you say 50%?
Up to 50%. I think the official number is 45, right?
But 45 is a lot.
Right, it is. So it goes to waste, and that means up to 50% of food that does not get to the table of the final consumer. There's a lot of talk about, and I digress, there's a lot of talk about, we don't produce enough. But that which we produce, we still lose 50% of it. And if we lose 50% of what we produce, how do we then really say that we don't produce enough? Because you have to maximize your production first, and then you're able to measure what you need to supplement that and say, okay, we have enough, right? So you have the environmental also effect of it also in terms of contributing to climate change. Food waste or food loss, however you want to put it, is the third largest contributor to climate greenhouse gas emissions globally, right? And you can do the math in terms of the tons or the kilograms of food that goes to waste, and it's equivalent in greenhouse gas emissions.
Wow.
And food loss basically is the third largest globally. So that's another angle to look at it. There's also the health factor, where food disposed indiscriminately or that is rotting away can get into our water streams, get into our water systems, lead to health complications. We had an outbreak of cholera earlier in the year, right? Yes. That could have been caused by food disposed indiscriminately.
Improper disposal of food.
And all of that. There's also the part of, still talking about health, ensuring that when you dispose of this food that is lost, you do them in a sustainable manner, right? A lot of people still throw waste away, and both organic and inorganic waste are put together, and this has some implications in terms of chemical release into the atmosphere also. So there are a number of causes. There's malnutrition, effects. There's malnutrition. As at 2023, World Health Organization said that over about 25 million children in Nigeria under the age of 5 suffer from acute malnutrition. If we have the infrastructure to ensure that food does not go to waste, we would have a lot more nutrition flowing through our food value chain, and these children would probably, to a large extent, not be facing these problems that they're facing. So these are some of the issues that food loss or food waste can lead to.
All right, then. I'll take this last question before we go on a break. Now, I know that Loma is doing, that's the Lagos Waste Management Agency.
Yes.
They have been doing a whole lot of sensitization as regards separating your waste. But it appears that a lot of people don't have the knowledge. They don't have a clear understanding of why this agency is clamoring for this. Can you enlighten Lagosians on this?
I basically just said it, right? It's really about the health and environmental implications, right? You want to ensure that your waste are disposed discriminately. I say that again so that it's not mistaken for indiscriminate. And because you want to ensure that your environment is neat, you want to ensure that you don't inhale certain gases that would come off those kind of waste, and then it leads to health issues. You also don't want this waste getting into your water, right? You don't want it getting into something that feeds back into your food system. You want to ensure that it is properly disposed of, so that you can protect yourself, protect the environment, protect your children from the likely effects.
All right, then, Lagos, you heard it from Michael there. Basically, you might not necessarily understand, or you might not necessarily see this happen, but it actually happens when you dispose your perishable, your food left over, you dispose it together with that can, with that PET bottle, with that, recyclable items. There is a chemical reaction. These actually releases into the air. All right, Lagos, you're still tuned to Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. The program is Safety Train. You can be a part of the conversation by calling 0809 9120 Should you have any question or any concern you want to put forward this afternoon? Let me say this, that, some areas still look wet and some areas looking dry already, or scattered rainfall we are having this afternoon within the Lagos metropolis. But so far, vehicular movement is still looking quite appreciable in and around the metropolis. But if that isn't the case for you, feel free to share with me. Lagos Ibadan Expressway, those of you pulling outward Lagos, what exactly are you going through? Please share with me. I still have Michael Akinsete in the studio. He is the co-founder and chief marketing officer at Eko Tutu. Let me reiterate that we are focusing on World Food Day, themed Right to Food for a Better Life and a Better Future. Now, Michael, how can we control or avoid this food loss? Because I see that, food waste is not even, does not come close, right? It doesn't come close. So the food loss is the major challenge now. Is there a way we can control this?
Well,
there is actually food scarcity now, so to say. So it boils down to food loss.
Yes, and the answer is pretty simple. It's not easy to do, but it's simple in the sense that we are lacking certain infrastructure that would enhance the food system in such a way that we are able to plug the gap of waste and loss post-harvest within the food value chain, right? One of the lacking infrastructure, which is what we at Eco22 are provided, is the storage infrastructure. Many of this food goes to waste because there's a lack of cooling solutions, lack of cold storage infrastructure, or even cold logistic infrastructure that ensures that the shelf life of this staple food is prolonged and then kept in premium condition till it gets to the table of the final consumer. So putting in place storage systems across key production points, across key market points, also ensuring that there is enough cold logistics to service the need. Currently, the cold chain need in Nigeria, the available infrastructure is just about 4% of what is needed. So we have a 96% gap, right? And considering that we, as a country, invest about $10 billion annually to import this food, that we also, because of this gap that the lack of infrastructure creates, I think that money can go into ensuring that that infrastructure is put in place. We have proper post-harvest handling after harvest. We have proper storage. The pre-cooling process is there, then the storage process itself. And you also facilitate, ensure that perishables especially are kept in a cool, dry place, right? That ensures preservation for a long time. By so doing, we would have a lot more premium and quality food within the value chain. We would also have farmers making more money. We would have every actor within the value chain, within the market, would benefit a lot more from having the right infrastructure in place.
And enough food in circulation.
Yes.
All right.
Which also then drives down the price of food.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's now look at, some of the ways one can actually curb food waste.
That's on the consumer side.
Yes, that's on the consumer side.
Okay, first of all, don't take up more than you need at a time.
Some people are just messing that food like this. They want to have the whole of the bowl, but their stomach can actually not accommodate everything.
My mom would say yeah, so it's like you're scared of of how much your stomach can take, right? So yes, don't take more than you can finish at a time. Ensure that what needs to be stored in certain conditions. If you need to refrigerate, ensure that you refrigerate properly. If it needs to be stored dry, ensure that it is kept away from moist. Right? If you need to grind it and bottle it, do that. Right? In fact, the fact that the price of food right now, food inflation is at about 40% upwards, right? So thinking about that in itself, I don't think anybody right now should be wasting food. If you don't think about the social and environmental effects, think about how it's hurting your pocket right now, right? So yeah, I think that taking the right actions in terms of storage, in terms of rationing, not going to the market and buying what you need per time, especially if you don't have the facility to store within your residence, ensuring that you don't, I can't say this enough, don't take more than you need per time.
Yeah. Michael Akinsete, in the course of this conversation, I'm quite aware that part of the things that you guys do at Eco22 is a clean tech company that provides affordable solar-powered cold storage solutions. And that brings me to my next question.
Okay.
That, what ways can we actually store or preserve food, considering the kind of, the dynamics around our power sector, from the grid collapsing to the band A, band B, band C, and D, and all of that.
Yes.
And, epileptic supply in some part, Where do we go from here?
Right. So at Equity, one of the major things that we like to say is that we're solving two problems. The problem of a lack of access to reliable power supply to power the cold chain infrastructure, and then the lack of the cold chain infrastructure itself.
Yes.
Right. So, and that's what led us to innovating and using solar to power our cold rooms and ensure that all the other products within our verticals are also off-grid powered.
Okay.
So we have our cold rooms are 100% solar powered, especially for fruit and vegetables. There is one that we deployed at the Mile 12 market, which is the largest food market in West Africa, being the melting pot for food from all the production points across the country and the continent. We thought it was wise to situate that there, and it's been doing great. Solving the problem, plugging that gap within that market space, right? So ensuring that it is solar powered, that not only creates access to that infrastructure and reliable power supply, but also reduces the cost of installation, the cost of deployment by at least 25 to 30%, because not only is it solar powered, it is also powered by technology that we call thermal storage, which means that we convert solar energy directly to ice. So we're not just storing power backup in batteries. We don't need as many batteries or as many solar panels to ensure operation of the system. With an ice chamber, with ice built in there over time, the backup for battery just ensures the transfer of temperature within the ice bath into the cold room. And then we have the cooler bags and the ice cell that facilitate last mile delivery. So for businesses that are trying to ensure that their customers get value. So you sell smoothie, you sell parfait, you sell fresh meat, fresh fish, chicken, whatever it is, dairy. The cooler bags help you to deliver this product to your customers with the ice cell, so ensuring that they're cold. And the ice cell is more or less an ice block, but you can reuse it over and over for months and months on end. So those are some of the products that the solutions that we have provided and continue to provide to the market to help plug this gap.
And we just hope that it is affordable to the common man on the street of Lagos.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is relatively affordable. So speaking about affordability, one of the things that we did to ensure access for especially the smallholder farmers and traders is a model that we call cooling as a service. This helps them to access the solution on a pay-as-you-go, or what we like to call pay-as-you-store or chill basis, right? And they pay right now as little as 250 naira per day.
Wow.
Per crate per day to store in the Mile 12 hub.
Amazing, because we're running out of time. I have a message from Grandma Lionka. She says it's been really difficult getting through the telephone, but can cottage industry for making fruit juice be built?
Can a cold storage? I think.
Can cottage industry for making fruit juice?
Cottage industry.
Yes,
for making fruit juice
be built.
I mean, I'm not into fruit juice processing, but yes, I think that if that is a mechanism of making fruit juice, then it's something that interested parties can invest in, and if it helps to also reduce loss, because if you're able to process fruits and process it to add value to them, that's actually what that's part of what we need to do in Nigeria. A lot of our products, we need to add more value. I know somebody who's adding value to yam, to products like yam, with yam chips and all of that.
Right. I was going to ask that. When you say adding value, how do you mean?
Oh, by processing it and making it into products that are of higher value or can give you better return. Rather, because we consume a lot. A lot of it goes to waste.
Sure.
What if we invest by building a cottage for fruit juice? That helps to reduce the waste.
True. This last one, because we're a product of our community, and so I believe that there is a role our community plays in all of it. So what role do the communities play in addressing food waste issues?
So it is first important that the communities, we as a community, right? Because we can't speak about communities outside of ourselves.
True.
Right. So as a community, it's important that we promote sustainable habits around food.
Okay.
Right.
Sustainable habits
such as not taking more than you need at some time.
Okay.
Ensuring proper storage of this food. Educating your neighbors. Right. I do a lot of that since because I was not born a saint. Right, and I was part of this environment for a long time. But since 2014 up till date, I have not discarded paper without putting it in the trash can.
In a bin, right?
If I am walking around, I have a bag. If I buy pure water, I drink pure water. If I buy pure water, I put the nylon in my pocket, right, until I see a trash can. Imbibing habits like that around food, ensuring that, you go to a restaurant, you buy what you can finish. Right? You don't leave leftovers that they then dispose of.
Do they even dispose? I mean, they don't even dispose these things now. They sell.
I can't speak on that.
You would practically see those who have pets at home buying.
Oh, yes. Definitely. Oh, I have a dog. So if my leftover food, whenever I have leftover goes to the dog. So that ensures that it doesn't go to waste. Somebody is gaining value from it.
All right. I'm afraid we'll have to wrap this up now. Michael, thank you so much for being our guest on the show this afternoon. Today we have discussed the World Food Day, focusing on the theme, right to food for a better life and a better future. My guest has been Michael Akinsete. He is the co-founder and chief marketing officer at Ekotutu, a clean tech company that provides affordable solar-powered cold storage solutions to businesses in the agriculture and health value chain. The program is Safety Train, and this message is coming to you with the support of Rely Supply Limited. We are into supply, refill, and audit of first aid boxes and training. To call for details on how to promote your brand on the radio and get our services, please call 0818-131-3156 or 0803-403-0366. The program makes a return next week, Tuesday, for another interesting conversation. I remain Taiwo Baruwa.